Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So this was a completely unplanned live, but guess what? With the awesome news that we received yesterday about Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect, I would be remiss if I do not acknowledge her as well as all the wonderful, beautiful, educated women that have paved the way and are paving the way. So I just thought it was just highly important for me to just hop on to acknowledge that, and just to also, if you guys would talk back to me and let me know what are your thoughts. And of course, men, you are welcome to chime in, because of course we would love to hear your thoughts. We always talk about the glass ceiling that the women have, but as you can see, if we work together, we can definitely pave the way for each other. So without further ado, let me go ahead and, as I said, congratulate her. Of course, she did not do this alone. If you notice the post that I quickly posted just before this live, she was basically surrounded by a group of women who played their role in different aspects, whether it be in television broadcasting or in actually other political roles. And of course, there were people who were not in that picture, because God forbid we couldn't possibly have a picture with probably everyone, right? Even the people who have died, the Harriet Tubmans of the world, right? They played a role. And as you saw also in the top of this slide, where you say that, I think the quote was, we stand tall because we stand on the backs of those who came before us. I absolutely love that quote. And the reason why I love it so much is because it reverences the people who came before us. It reverences and speaks to their contributions. And just to let us know that there were people, the Rosa Parks, the people before us that were continuously paving the way, Ginsburg, all those different women who continue to pave the way, and the men who work alongside us. So talk back to me, let me know what you think. And as I've also put, okay, because of the picture, probably some people will think that this is a political post or live rather. No, it's not. It's strictly about women empowerment, right? And I'm also setting up the way, because next week I also want to talk about, on a panel discussion, what does it mean for our young ladies? If you remember, we saw a picture with President Obama back then when he bent all the way down, almost like in the form of an L, where the young boy wanted to touch his hair to see if his hair was like his. So at that time, I know it was for both men, little girls and little boys, but it felt like we have now come full circle, where you have the little boy who felt like there was somebody looked like him in the White House. So that gave him more possibilities, right? Now, here we are, we have Camilla in the White House. So it gives our little girls even more possibilities. So talk back to me, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm just going to try to take a look and see. Young boy wanted to touch his. Of course, that is my volume. Okay, hold on. I got a new phone. I'm still learning how to use this new phone. So anyway, okay. So, let me know your thoughts on what do you think about that. And as I said, normally I put up my, my notification that I'm going live, but this is a pop-up one. But okay. So again, congratulations, whether or not, let me see, hold on. Okay, I see Simone here. She says, this is why true history is important. Storytelling is needed for all the generations. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons I said to you before, why I so love, the quote about standing tall on the backs of those who came before us, because a lot of the times, even in the current generation, I think, because sometimes we have been programmed, not to tell our stories. In some instances, we don't speak as much as we should. We don't share the stories of the victories, the hardships, even the process that we went through. Because sometimes everyone thinks it's always about hardships. That's not necessarily so. Not everybody is going through a hardship. There are people who have their victories also, right? So of course, you acknowledge all of it, because you need all of it to make it a complete success. Okay, so you says you can't be grateful in ignorance. Absolutely. Because again, if you're ignorant, how can you really know what to be grateful for? So I totally agree with you there. You definitely need to learn the stories. You need to know your history. You need to know what actually, or the things that preceded us and how can we build upon them. Again, coming back to what you said in ignorance, if you're to go forward as a woman or even a man, how then will you do that if you do not have the knowledge that came before us, the stories that came before us, the things that worked back then, the things that didn't work? So you will know what to enhance upon, what to build upon, as well as what to reject, adjust, and move forward. So great comment there. Great comment. Alrighty. So, as I was thinking about it, he says, okay, when Camilla came on board, for a moment, I'm going to put this to you. For a moment, do you think that she was not, hesitant? Can I really do this? Right? Or did she say, oh, I'm Superwoman. I can always do this, right? I will be willing to bet that she had peaks and valleys. There were some times that she had some level of uncertainties. And then there are times when she felt like she was that Superwoman, right? That she could definitely do this. But it doesn't matter. The point is that she persevered. The point is that she had her support system also to help her through the process. And one of the key things that I'm taking away from a lot of the leadership that we have is that perseverance also requires integrity, because believe it or not, true perseverance needs that grit, it needs that character, it needs that integrity that must come alongside it in order for you to really be consistent and to reach to that goal that you may have in mind. So one of the takeaways definitely we must learn is, to operate in integrity, whether you're in the corporate workplace or you're, you have your own business, or you're both, straddling both fences as an entrepreneur or as a, a corporate person. Or even let me take it another step further. If you're even a young lady that is in school or a young man who's in school, the fact is that all of us are leaders in our own right and must strive towards integrity. So here in the UK, we aren't taught about Black influencers, or Rosa Parks is so important to enlighten others and ourselves. You know what? And I don't even know if it's only a UK issue. I can see it being probably more difficult in the fact that, you probably have a lot more European history. So I can totally get that. I remember when I was in, it's a little bit different country, not a little bit different country. I remember when I was in Mexico City one time for work, and I was shocked when I saw a statue of Martin Luther King. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? What is he doing here? So to be surprised, as you said, all the way in the UK, where our history, like the US history, is so intertwined with the UK, I'm actually very surprised that you're saying that, you're not being taught about the Black influencers. But you know what I would say to that? Then that speaks to us. What must we do as women and men to make sure that our children get the lesson that must be taught, right? Or the lessons that must be taught? Because if we don't tell our story, and there's a lot of coaches right now that are talking about, helping you to get your story out. I think they're doing a phenomenal job, because again, if we do not start to tell our own stories, how will the kids currently and the ones to come, how will they truly know? And then what would happen is that our legacy will be watered down, and our true value in terms of what it really means won't be as, pertinent as it really should be in the minds of our kids. Now, if you think about it, taking it back even to just my own culture, we have, speaking as Jamaicans, and for the Jamaicans who are on the live here now, and I can see a bit of you watching, feel free to say hello. Now, speaking as a Jamaican, we have been indoctrinated from a cultural point of view. I remember my mom would always say this to me: if something happens to you or something happens in the house, you keep it in the house. It's nobody's business, right? Now, of course, there's some truth to that, because you don't go around and just tell the whole world your business. But I think the negative impact that had for us was that it taught us to be so inward, right? I don't necessarily want to use the word secretive because it's not really being secretive. It's just that you're being more inward. You keep your business in the house. Nobody had to know what was going on. It's just not their business. Now, that is the Jamaican culture, and I would assume even some other countries too, but I can only speak to Jamaican, right? Now, I will also be willing to bet that it probably is similar in some households here in the US. And since I have a couple of people on from the UK, then also talking about it, in European countries also. But the negative impact of not telling our story is that we lose the richness of our stories. We lose the understanding as why is it so important for you to walk with your head held high, your shoulders square, have that confidence and be proud of what was accomplished before you. Be proud of the fight that they had to, go through. Be proud of whatever your family legacy is, right? So I think that's the negative impact of that. So, but we are empowered to change that trajectory. We are empowered to change our history as we go forward by how we are willing now to share the stories. I remember one of the my own personal disappointment is that my mom was a storyteller. Can you believe that? My mom was a storyteller. She was actually known as the storyteller. And I did not understand the richness of her talent. If I did at the time, and of course I moved country too, right? So she was there and I was here. She was here for a while, but only to babysit my son. And then after that, she was like, see you, I'm not staying in this cold. But the point is, she was that good that the church that she went to here in Edison, New Jersey, after she left the country, they would actually call down to her in Jamaica, and she would have to delay going to her church on the phone and will pipe her in to the church sound system. And she will still tell the stories. And it wasn't just for kids, right? She would still tell the stories. That's how powerful of a storyteller she was. My faux pas and regret is that I did not understand the richness that was at my fingertip. I should have been recording my mom all this time, right? I probably could have been retired by now with her stories. But anyway, it is what it is. But so the key message here is that let us honor the people who have passed, who've paved the way, who is paving the way, and who will pave the way. But for the ones who will, it is now incumbent on us, right, to do our path in terms of helping to pave that way for them so that they understand the legacy, they see what's going on, and we can definitely work together to do that. So as I said, I'm not going to be here, too long before you guys. I just thought it would be remiss for us not to honor women. And this is women. If you notice, I said women, not just women of one race, right? Because this is a leg for all of us going forward. Every single little girl, no matter what race, can now look and see, you know what? There is actually a woman that is going to be in the second most powerful position in the United States of America, right? And Simone said, hindsight is for the present lessons. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. He says, I said, no, I definitely understand the importance of storytelling. All right. So of course, I had already jumped right into this, and I didn't even tell you guys who I was. That's how excited I was. Well, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Judy Ann Chung. I am your brilliance activator, and I help women like you to basically activate your brilliance and soar. Now, how do I do that? I help you to restore your hope, especially in these uncertain times, and I'll also help you to build your confidence and your leadership skills. So the other thing that I also wanted to do is, like, before I depart, not this earth, this live, right? It's just basically give you a couple tips centered on confidence. But before I do that, also, let me tell you, I have a group called Women Who Rise Up in Hope and Confidence. So be sure to check that group out. I'll drop the links. Earlier, as I said, this was a pop-up, so I didn't put it, above the link before. And I will be putting that there, so you can definitely, join the group. Simone, if you're there, if you can just drop the link for me too, that would be helpful. Thank you. So anyway, so let me just leave you with a few tips on terms of confidence and what you can do and share with your, your young ladies or young men, or even yourself, in terms of overcoming confidence, or that you may have, right? Or a confidence issue that you may have. So the first thing that you want to do is to begin to believe in yourself. And you may say to me, duh, that seems quite obvious, right? Well, it may seem obvious, but the trick is, do you? What is your self-talk to yourself? You may know that you should be confident. You may know that you need to go ahead and take that first step. But the saboteur inside of you is saying, I'm not good enough, right? So you need to be able to silence that saboteur, that inner, oh, I'm not good enough, that inner, oh, imposter syndrome that's letting you not believe in yourself, right? And then, of course, it was Henry Ford. He says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, right? Now, of course, we want to always make sure that we control our thoughts. So what are you putting into you? What are you pouring into you? Because whatever you pour into you, that's exactly what's going to come out, right? That's why a lot of times you hear people talking about having those affirmations. But of course, affirmations is just a small part of the work. Then, of course, you want to stretch your limits, right? So confident people, they're stretch their limits. Camilla, by all means, stretched her limit. All right. Who thought that, oh my gosh, I could get to the White House, right? Of course, she went for it when I think she was a prosecutor or something, DA or something like that, at one point. I could be wrong about the exact office she held, but she held an office at some point. And then she sets her sights on the presidency when that wasn't quite working out, because of course, they go through a process in terms of who would win the nomination. Then she was able to now get on board and adjust, because if you realize, right, some of her policies were really not congruent with president-elect. So she had to adjust her policies so she too can get on board to make that goal. Now, what does that tell you? That life is not going to be just a smooth, trajectory going on forward. In order to go higher, you will have to make adjustments. So confidence people are willing to make adjustments and to move forward. Now, and also, confidence people will usually have a goal that will make them uncomfortable. Because remember, you really can't go too far unless you are being made uncomfortable. And Simone have Simone, is that the right link? I'm not sure. It says Facebook Watch. I'm not sure if that's the right link. But thanks for trying. Okay. So again, I was saying confidence people, they always have a stretch goal, because remember, you really can't go higher in comfortable places. So that's one thing that I want you to also recognize. So set that bar where you become uncomfortable, because that is one of the key traits of a confident person. And of course, you must always have the ability to say yes to some things, but what kind of things? Yes to the right opportunity, not yes just to any and all things. So in other words, a confident person will also sit back and analyze the opportunity that they are being presented with, right? So just a quick recap that I wanted to give you: those stretch limits, believing in yourself, knowing that you are enough, and of course, the ability to say yes, but yes to the right opportunities. In other words, you're going to analyze them to make sure you said yes to the right opportunities. So guys, I am going to bid you farewell. As I said, just a quick live, just to acknowledge the people who came before us. And again, just honoring them here. And as I shared with you before, I just wanted to, in terms of the name of the group, it is Women Who Rise in Hope and Confidence. I will go back and drop the link that we had there before. I believe it was the incorrect one. Okay, Carl, I know you are dropping a link there. I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me. I would suppose that you're dropping a link so people can go ahead and look at that link in terms of Joe Biden and Camilla. Remember, guys, this is not overly a political post at all. This is just is so happened is that our success is shown by a woman who's taken the second highest position in the United States of the Americas. So, of course, that's what we're talking about. Women empowerment, honoring the women who came before us, the ones who are doing it now, and the ones who are preparing us for our legacy for the kids who would come behind us too. All right, guys. So again, congratulations to all those wonderful, beautiful, educated women. And thank you so much for those of you who has participated, for those who would listen to the replay. By all means, do feel free to add your comments there, and definitely look for the tips. Take those tips that I've given you and apply them accordingly. And one of the things that I really, really want you to tune in on is to make sure that you set those stretch goals, because you cannot achieve greater things by being comfortable. All right, guys. So again, I'm Judy Ann Chung. I am your Brilliance Activator, helping women like you to activate your brilliance and soar. If you like to get in contact with me, feel free to drop me a DM, or of course, you can go on my website, which is coachingyouupward.com. You can touch on the calendar and set up for yourself to be able to have a free strategy call. So again, thank you so much. Oh, and one other quick thing. So I had the honor and the privilege of being a guest on the Restorative podcast. I also dropped the link on my page. Feel free to go ahead and listen to it, chime in, give me your comments, give me your feedback. I had a great time with Dr. Christopher Hall. It was wonderful. I also love the idea of his podcast because it spoke to restorative. And I love the idea of restoring people, getting them from that unstuck mode. So of course, definitely love that there. Okay. All righty. Oh, okay. Harris was a California attorney general. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. I thought I was right, but I wasn't too sure. I didn't want to misspeak. All righty. Thank you so very much. All righty. So I love the idea that we had men who chimed in here too, because again, I don't believe in the idea that us as women, we operate in a silo. We do need men. We need men to come in alignment with us, to help work along with us, and in some cases to help open the door for us, right? And of course, if they don't open it out, we'll kick it down, right? The point is we're going to get into it one way or the other. But I am very happy for the gentlemen who came on board and are willing to even participate and interact here. And I'm also grateful for the ladies who are on this live who are listening, and the gentlemen some who are participating, some who are not, and some who will listen to the replay. Either way you take it, I am grateful for all of you. So thank you so very much. And remember, for the women who want to join the group, it is Women Who Rise Up in Hope and Confidence. So you can just search for that on Facebook here and join the group. Welcome aboard. And do make sure you answer the questions, because if you don't, we probably have you sitting there forever and probably never let you in, right? Because we want women to participate and be a part of the tribe. And for the other guys who'd like to get in contact with me, as I shared my contact information with you earlier. All right, guys. And for next week, we are queuing up to have a panel that will speak to the impact of Kamala Harris's impact on young girls, on her legacy. So that's what's coming next week. All right. Take care for now. Bye-bye.